What if I told you the most powerful coin in crypto culture started as a joke? It didn't launch with a multi-million-dollar VC round, there was no sleek white paper, no roadmap to world domination, just a meme, a Shiba Inu with a look of surprise, and two developers who thought the crypto world was taking itself a little too seriously. And yet, here we are, over a decade later, and Dogecoin is still one of the most talked about assets in the entire space. My name's Kareem and welcome back to the Crypto Code by ICN Talks. Today we're unpacking one of the most iconic, misunderstood, and somehow still relevant coins in crypto, Doge. Yeah, the meme coin. The internet's favorite underdog, the one people either laugh at or quietly stack. But behind the jokes, the Elon tweets, and the price spikes is a surprisingly rich history, and a future that might be more real than most people think. And to be completely transparent, I have never purchased it, and I have no intention to ever purchase it because I stay away from meme coins altogether. I call this fugazi money, so I'm gonna try and be as impartial as possible. If you stay until the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly why its price will never hit $1. So, Dogecoin is evolving, and what started as a parody is now being considered for real-world payments, government acronyms, and potentially integration with one of the most influential platforms on the internet. Let's rewind. Let's break it all down and look at how Doge went from meme to cultural movement and what could be next. This will be the only video you need to understand everything there is about Dogecoin and Doge. You do not want to miss this. Dogecoin was created in December 2013 by two software engineers, Billy Marcus, an IBM programmer from Oregon, and Jackson Palmer, who was working at Adobe in Sydney. They didn't set out to build the future of finance. They wanted to make fun of it. At the time, Bitcoin was gaining traction, but the community was getting intense, it was getting tribal, and a little too serious. So they thought, what if we created a coin that was lighthearted, fun, and self-aware? They combined two internet obsessions of the time, crypto and memes. The result? A coin with a Shiba Inu dog on it and intentionally ridiculous branding. It was satire, but here's the twist. The community loved it. People started using Doge to tip content creators on Reddit and Twitter. It was easy to use, it had fast transactions, and it was fun. And I guess that was refreshing. Marcus and Palmer both stepped away from the project over the years, especially as the price and attention exploded. Palmer in particular became critical of the crypto industry as a whole, but the coin they launched as a joke kept going, powered entirely by its community, and is now the number 8 crypto with its $28 billion market cap. Crazy. By the way, if you're liking what you're hearing, then let us know by tapping that like button and subscribe to the channel. Crypto moves fast, so ping the notification bell as well to make 100% sure you don't miss our next crypto update. Despite starting off as a parody, Dogecoin has racked up some truly impressive milestones over the past decade, both in terms of community impact and cultural relevance. What began as a lighthearted experiment in 2013 quickly evolved into a global movement powered by humor, generosity, and the internet's love for underdogs. In 2014, just a year after its creation, the Dogecoin community rallied together to raise $30,000 to send the Jamaican bobsled team to the Winter Olympics in Sochi. It was a feel-good moment that made international news and showed the world what a meme-powered community could do when aligned around a cause. And that same year, the Doge army raised $50,000 to build a well in Kenya, partnering with clean water charities to make a real-world impact. And they weren't done. They also pooled together $55,000 to sponsor NASCAR driver Josh Wise, putting a Dogecoin-wrapped car on a major national stage. Wise ended up with one of the most viral paint jobs in racing history, and all of it was crowdfunded by internet strangers on Reddit. Beyond the charitable efforts, Dogecoin became one of the first cryptocurrencies widely used for tipping. Back when platforms like Twitter and Reddit had no built-in payment tools, Doge was how you said thanks to someone for a good comment, meme, or piece of content. It made crypto feel casual and human, not just financial. And as the years passed, Doge remained in the background, quietly held by loyal supporters, even as more serious projects came and went. But in 2021, Dogecoin broke into the mainstream like never before. It hit an all-time high of 73 cents during the peak of the bull run. Its market cap briefly soared to over $90 billion, making it one of the top 5 cryptocurrencies in the world by valuation. I remember it even surpassed the market cap of Volkswagen at that time and Ford, which is just insane. It was also listed on every major exchange: Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Gemini, and more. Doge wallet holders crossed into the millions, with retail investors flocking in from all corners of the globe. And it was trending. everywhere. From TikTok challenges to SNL skits, thanks to Elon, Dogecoin became more than just a coin. It became a cultural symbol. Even during the 2022 to 2023 bear market, when hype cooled and attention shifted to new narratives like AI tokens and real-world assets, Doge didn't disappear. It held its place in the top 20 coins by market cap. It survived, not because of promises or vaporware, but because of its simplicity, its recognizability, and the loyalty of its community. So while Dogecoin started as a joke, the list of places where you can actually use it keeps growing. And that's part of what makes it so unique. It's a meme coin that somehow managed to build real-world momentum without ever losing its sense of humor. From sponsoring Olympic athletes to breaking into Fortune 500 product lines, Dogecoin's milestones are a reminder that culture, community, and curiosity can be just as powerful as code. And Doge, against all odds, continues to show up in wallets, in headlines, and maybe soon in your X tipping settings too. No story about Dogecoin is complete without talking about Elon Musk. Elon started tweeting about Doge in 2020. At first, it looked like a joke, but the tweets kept coming. Memes, polls, even changing his Twitter bio to former CEO of Dogecoin, and the market responded. Every tweet sent Doge flying. Let's pull up the screen and dive deeper into what is currently going on with Doge and the massive narrative that's happening right now around it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what a $28 billion website looks like. I mean, the UI, honestly, if I'm being honest, I mean, it's terrible. Look at this. This is Dogecoin, the people's currency. This is their actual official website, dogecoin.com. And you can scroll down and start to see what the intention was, what they're building, and how it's become this cultural phenomenon and icon, especially in the crypto space, but also across X. So UI, not so great. I mean, I wouldn't believe that this is worth $28 billion, but hey, I guess I must be doing something wrong in my life. I also found this YouTube video. So let's just have a look at what Doge is all about, because I was looking at this and just thinking to myself.
Revolutionary digital currency. It can easily be sent through the internet from person to person with total security. With instant transactions, you can send coins from Melbourne to Mumbai, from Madrid to Minneapolis in seconds. It's simple and safe to use, and is already accepted at online retailers where you can buy gifts, groceries, services, and so much more. What makes Dogecoin truly unique from other currencies is how its ease of use makes it the perfect way to instantly send cash gifts to people all around the world. You can send 10 cents to your favorite comment on Twitter, or $10 to your favorite band to purchase their latest album. You can even send $100 to a charity that you support. There's no middleman to take a cut, and the transactions are completely anonymous. If you are a creator, you'll find your fans can financially empower you. For the first time, you can directly receive cash from them rather than a valueless like or retweet. You now have the opportunity to spend more time creating content and less time counting cents. Be part of something big, something groundbreaking. Within the first few months of creation, the Dogecoin community has already achieved great things, from funding Olympic athletes to providing clean drinking water to those in need. The community is welcoming and amazingly generous. You'll fit right in. So, how do I join in? To start, visit dogecoin.com and download your own digital wallet. Then, join the community on Reddit, where thousands of helpful people will happily answer any of your questions, and where you'll also receive some free coins. Dogecoin, the internet currency. We'll see you on the moon.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what they're trying to build. They're trying to make it very easy for creators to get tipped and support each other. I think it's great. Whether it's worth $28 billion is another conversation, but definitely fun, happy, and very, very culturally appropriate for what's happening right now in the crypto space and on Twitter. So I like the charity aspect of it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's very cool. So what I wanted to show you guys was this, the charity aspect of it, which I really like about the project. So if you click on this t-shirt here, you can see some of the swag and the merchandise. And then here it's about, supporting each other, charity, being kind, teaching people about cryptocurrency, fundraising, having fun, making memes, being absurd. So basically taking, having more fun with finance, right? Because finance traditionally was with the banks and traditionally very strict and rigid. And this is kind of breaking that barrier and making it easy for creators and other folks to transfer money to them to to each other very easily in a fun meme, funny way as well. So I like that. I haven't done the research to see exactly who's getting this money and how they're distributing it. So I'm hoping that everything is transparent and it's all clear and seeing what they're doing. So that's what I wanted to show you. I also wanted to show you. So here, Dogecoin has no utility. To be honest, I actually thought it had no utility, but now after doing the research for this video, here they say, oh yes, it does, and it always has. The simple fact is that money has utility. Okay, fair enough. And Dogecoin is money. Indeed, Dogecoin is one of the few cryptocurrencies that has been used for this main purpose from day one. It was first meant to be a joke, and it served, and it will serve this purpose very well. It also immediately became a means to tip and encourage others to go and achieve something. Again, they keep mentioning the bobsled team, the Jamaican bobsled team, the water wells in Kenya, which is really cool. The Dogecoin car. I don't know if they've done anything after that. I'd love to just see if that continued, because those are the only 3 examples that I have seen. So as per the Dogecoin manifesto, Dogecoin focus lies on being useful, personable, welcoming, reliable, while maintaining a unique sense of fun. Awesome. $28 billion. That's what that's worth. So moving on, I wanted to kind of show you how Elon, Dogecoin, the Department of Government Efficiency, all of that combination. I think the reason why Elon potentially has used this acronym is because if you do search and you want to find out what's happening within not just Dogecoin, but also just Doge in general, you'll start to see how they're all intertwined. So if you just go into X and search Doge, you'll start seeing, okay, you'll get the price of Doge right away. That's the first thing you get. But then as you scroll down, you'll see, okay, here, Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, right? And then look, it's like a dollar sign. It looks like a crypto, but it looks like it's part of this meme, this cultural phenomenon, right? So then you go down here, it's Doge News, which we'll talk about. And then Department of Government Efficiency News. Let's follow that as well. But you start to see this panel. I was watching it right before shooting this, and I can't wait to continue it. It's really, really insightful, and we'll talk about it as well during this video, because I want to talk about Elon's role. I want to talk about Doge as a cryptocurrency, but I also want to talk about Doge and what's happening right now in U.S. politics and their goals with that as well. So this interview just came out 10 hours ago, I believe, from the day of recording. So we're recording this actually on March 28th. It's very fascinating. But my point is, you search Doge, you'll get information about the Doge Coin, which is a cultural phenomenon, right, in crypto, but you also get the latest interviews with Elon Musk about Doge and what they're doing to fix the US economy, essentially, right? So here's my interview, and you'll see it's just all intertwined together. The Shiba Inu, the dog, the cryptocurrency, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, it's all part of this cultural phenomenon. And I think it's probably on purpose so that Elon does get the support of the grassroots, the people, especially on X, especially on Reddit, especially, the ones who actually want to see change and want to follow up with what's actually happening with Elon. Is when they search Doge, they'll find the latest news on what they're trying to achieve. And what they're trying to achieve is actually really, really cool. So I think that's a great, tying this video not just to the Dogecoin as a cryptocurrency, but also into the movement that's happening now with Elon Musk and Donald Trump in power. So we'll go on. I started following the Department of Government Efficiency. This is their actual X profile, 4.8 million followers. They do have a website, doge.gov, which we'll go into next. But this is amazing. I mean, you can really stay up to date with everything that they're trying to do. And I want to talk about some of their goals, which is really, really cool. And honestly, I have massive respect for what they're trying to do, and I think in theory, if it works, it's great. Obviously, they're going to get a lot of pushback, and Elon has been getting a lot of pushback, especially from the other side of politics. But I think in the grand scheme of things, this is really, really, really cool that they're making it transparent and showing the American people at the end of the day. I'm not American, but if I was American and I'm paying my taxes and I know my taxes are going to things that it doesn't make any sense, there's a lot of things that they're paying for that's just a waste. And now we'll talk about a little bit more about what Elon and his team are trying to do to fix that. So you can go to the website. Very cool. I love that it's transparent. They're doing it live. I think from the interview that I saw, it's not completely instant, but it's getting there, and they're working towards it. So what I wanted to talk about is basically the main goal of the Department of Government Efficiency. So at a top level, just to understand, the United States today spends around $7 trillion a year on its annual budget, okay? They only received like $5 trillion. So I think the deficit that they have right now is $2 trillion that they don't have. So they're borrowing that extra $2 trillion every year, which puts them in a big deficit. And I'll show you some of the numbers as well, which is really fascinating. So the idea behind what Elon Musk and Doge and the Doge team and Trump, what they're trying to do is they're trying to reduce that deficit from 2 trillion down to 1 trillion. So essentially half, or in theory, like what the idea is basically drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion, which is only a 15% reduction, a 15% reduction, which is it's not that high. I mean, I feel like it's achievable. And from listening to what they're talking about, they think that they could just make that reduction just through stopping waste and fraud alone and not affecting the critical government infrastructure. So $1 trillion out of that $7 trillion in the grand scheme of things is potentially doable. And if you start looking at some of the things that they're stopping and some of the budgets that have been put that the U.S. government and taxpayers were paying for, it's ridiculous. There are some things that are ridiculous. Obviously, you'll get pushback from the other side saying that's not true. But in reality, I think obviously there is waste, fraud, and corruption happening in every government, in every country around the world. And the U.S. is no exception for sure. And now that it's being transparent, I think this is going to be a great eye opener to the U.S. taxpayers to be like, hey, why are we paying for all this stuff? It just doesn't make sense. And so what I understood is that Elon and his team have 130 days basically because they're like temporary employees or like part-time employees helping with this, setting this up. And to achieve that target of $1 trillion reduction, they have to do $4 billion of savings every day for the next 130 days, which is insane. But hate him or love him, I'm pro Elon. I mean, who else in the world can run a car company, an electric car company, a space company, and all the things that he's doing? I mean, it's really, really impressive. X as well, obviously. So I'm really pro Elon. I think we need innovators like this that can really push the boundaries of innovation, hire a lot of people, and create jobs and really show us what's possible in the world that we live in. So I'm really a huge fan. I think the intention to fix what is broken is there, which is great. Making it transparent, also great. And he knows how to make these things happen. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen there. Okay. So moving on, there's other, I don't know if this is affiliated with them, but this could be, just someone following what's happening with the Doge and what they're doing. So these are other profiles that I'm following just to stay up to date with what they're doing. I think it's really interesting and to see how they're gonna, cut that $1 trillion. So I'm really staying on top of it. I think in the macro economic space as well, just if they're able to do this, save $1 trillion and reduce that deficit over time, this is really bullish for not only crypto, obviously, but for the capital markets in general, the public markets in general, because reducing debt and interest payments on debt is always a good thing. I think also with AI, what's happening with AI, we're becoming so much more productive. I think this is all very good for the economy. I think we might suffer this year while they build this out and show and fix it. But I think in the long term, this is definitely healthy because whether you like it or not, the United States economy has an impact across the globe. So moving on, these are all, the All In podcast is a bunch of billionaires who sit and talk, and they everyone's really shocked by some of the line items that the government has been paying for. And if I was a US taxpayer, I'd be so pissed off. I mean, some of these things that you see, like what do you see here? Like there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. And why are the US taxpayers paying for it? I think one thing that I read was $1 billion towards doing these like polls and useless information that wasn't really being used properly. There's a bunch of examples. I don't know what's right and what's not, but I mean, what's true and what's not. But in reality, it just all sounds like there's a lot of waste and corruption happening there. So I'm happy to see them clean that up. So this is just one meme I wanted to showcase. You were okay with 86,000 IRS agents hired to audit you, but you're mad about 40 Doge employees hired to audit the people stealing your tax dollars. Cool. So I think the United States has become very divided on this topic, but in reality, I think it is definitely a good thing for them to be doing. The next thing I wanted to show you was the US debt clock, which is live, and it's fascinating how fast these numbers are moving. But the U.S. national debt now sits at $36 trillion. The federal debt to GDP ratio is 122%, which is like, it's insane for for the number one economy in the world to be hitting that. Obviously, the U.S. can manage it because they have the U.S. dollar is a reserve across the world, so they're managing it, but it's not sustainable at all, and so they need to fix this now. The interest on the debt alone is $1 trillion. That's more than their defense budget, their defense war budget. That's another conversation, which I think they're spending way too much money on. Anyways, their foreign policy is not the best, but in reality, coming in and trying to fix this. And now you can see a Doge clock here, which wasn't here previously before the Trump administration. And see the savings that they're trying to do per taxpayer. So this is fascinating. If you're American, you definitely need to be watching out for this. And I think every country in the world should have a transparent system where the citizens know how their tax money is being spent. So this is something that I wanted to showcase as well. And then just finally, we'll just go quickly through what's happening in the markets. I think we're finally seeing some green. Bitcoin is now trading around 85K, which is promising. It was 78K just a couple of weeks ago. So we're seeing some green back in the markets. I think with what's going on at the macro level, everyone's quite bullish. Again, I think this year might be just a little bit of a correction just to, while the foundations for fixing the economy happen. But I think in 2026 onwards, we're going to see hopefully the markets start to go up. And guys, we built this ICN.live. We built this platform specifically for you. It is the best way to stay up to date with the latest news in Web3, in AI, in gaming, in Bitcoin. We're really building this out. We take all the information, the latest information, put it all in one place. Very easy to read and easy to see. We have a newsletter that you can subscribe to get all the latest information as well. You can also check the latest prices. If you click here, it'll take you to the prices. And I just wanted to show you the Doge price today. So it's very, very intuitive, very easy to use. And what I wanted to talk about as well is why I don't think Doge will ever hit $1, which we'll talk about right after this, is because of its max supply. Look at that. It's infinite. It's an inflationary token. And I'll get into a little bit more details about that. And the circulating supply right now is 148.6 billion Doge, which for me is a red flag. But then if you look at what the purpose is of Doge and what that video that we just watched, it's basically to become, a cheap way to transfer money peer-to-peer to content creators and others, creatives as well. So that's why holding it for a long-term investment is probably not something that I want to do personally. But if that's something that you're into, then that's obviously up to you. So why does Elon love Doge Coin? He has said in interviews that he loves the irony of Doge. A coin made as a joke ends up being one of the most talked about assets in the world. He also pointed out that Doge has lower transaction fees and faster transactions than Bitcoin. And most importantly, he saw a massive, passionate community that wanted to see it succeed. Elon even brought Dogecoin developers into the fold and started having discussions about improving the protocol. He hinted at potential integration into X, especially for micropayments and tipping. In fact, Dogecoin's codebase was updated in 2022 and again in 2024 with support from core contributors and external developers linked to Tesla and X. And in early 2022, Elon Musk announced that Tesla would begin accepting Doge as a payment for select merchandise on its online store. Items like belt buckles, charging equipment, and even the infamous cyber whistle could be bought using Dogecoin. The Doge checkout option was added to Tesla's official site, and yes, it worked. But as of 2025, Tesla still doesn't accept Dogecoin or any other crypto for full vehicle purchases, but Musk hasn't ruled it out. In fact, he's tweeted multiple times that he'd consider expanding Doge payments in the future, especially if regulatory clarity improves. Given Elon's deep involvement with both Tesla and Dogecoin, it wouldn't be surprising to see more integration down the line, especially as Doge becomes more efficient and usable for larger transactions. Whether you love or hate Elon's influence on the market, it's undeniable. He put Dogecoin in front of a global audience. So, where is Dogecoin actually headed? It is still an open source project maintained by a small but active group of developers. The roadmap for 2025 is focused on 3 things. Number 1, continued work on improving network efficiency and security. Number 2, optimizing Doge for microtransactions and daily payments. And number 3, expanding partnerships for merchant adoption. There's also been speculation, though not officially confirmed, that X may begin using Doge for tipping and small-scale payments in its creator monetization tools. Musk hasn't said it outright, but he's dropped enough hints to keep the community watching closely. And in 2024, Dogecoin integrated a new light client protocol to improve wallet accessibility and transaction speed. The goal is clear: make Dogecoin fast, make it cheap, and easy to use for everyday people. There are no wild claims or white papers promising a metaverse or world domination, just a simple focus on being a reliable peer-to-peer digital currency. So, did Doge actually inspire the Department of Government Efficiency? You wouldn't think it, but yes, depending on who you ask. When Trump announced the creation of the Department of Government Efficiency in early 2025, the internet immediately lit up with memes, and it wasn't a coincidence. Elon, who's been a vocal supporter of the initiative, has a long history with Dogecoin. Whether it was a subtle nod or a full-on tribute, the acronym definitely got people talking. Some reports even suggested that Elon playfully pushed for the name internally, knowing it would go viral. So, while the department has a serious mission, reducing waste in federal spending, it comes with a wink to internet culture. And in a way, that's peak Dogecoin, a blend of sincerity and satire. Why are investors still interested in Doge? Here's the surprising part. Even in 2025, Doge is still on the radar for investors, and not just retail, but some institutional players as well. Why? Because Doge has something few crypto projects can claim: brand recognition, cultural relevance, and a massive user base. Most people in or out of crypto have at least heard of Dogecoin. That kind of mindshare is valuable. Utility-wise, it's actually not that bad. Doge has low fees, fast confirmation times, and a solid track record of uptime. It's ideal for small payments, for tipping, donations, and casual use. And as integrations with platforms like X continue to evolve, Doge may become one of the first coins actually used by millions for simple, everyday transactions. It's not going to be the next Ethereum or solve every global problem, but in its own lane, Doge has carved out a place. So, will Dogecoin ever hit $1? No chance, and here's why. Dogecoin does not have a fixed supply. Unlike Bitcoin, which has a maximum supply of 21 million coins, Dogecoin has an uncapped supply, meaning new Doge is created every year. Specifically, about 5 billion Doge are added to circulation annually through mining rewards. This was an intentional design decision by the creators for 3 reasons. Number 1, encourage spending rather than hoarding. Number 2, keep transaction fees low by ensuring liquidity. And number 3, make Doge more suitable as a day-to-day digital currency. As of the time of filming, there are over 148 billion Doge in circulation, and that number continues to grow at a predictable rate. While this inflationary model has drawn criticism from some investors, supporters argue that it aligns better with a use case focused on microtransactions and tipping, rather than long-term store of value like Bitcoin. So Dogecoin started as a joke, but it's evolved into something much bigger. It's a coin powered by community, it's shaped by internet culture, and backed, at least in spirit, by one of the most influential people in the world. Whether you see it as a meme or you see it as a movement, there's no denying that Doge has made its mark. And in 2025, it continues to remind us that crypto isn't just about complex protocols and financial theory. It's also about people, it's about culture, and the strange, unexpected ways they collide. So, what do you think? Are you a fan of Dogecoin or Doge? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. See you next week.